is going on, guys? We have an amazing show for you tonight. Make sure you watch this all the way through. We're going to go through all of our leaders. We're going to go through some shit tickers. And then, of course, we're going to hit the overall market because NVIDIA earnings is out and what it was is a doozy. Enjoy. All right, we're doing things a little bit differently tonight. I got my boy, the beefiest of stews, with me tonight. Say what's up, B Stewie.
How's it going, squad?
Yeah, baby. All right, so we got to get the this right out in the open, and B Stewie, I think you know what that is. The NVIDIA earnings is out, folks. The NVIDIA earnings is out. So we got to clear the air, and we can talk about everything else. So NVIDIA, let's go ahead and click on the report here. All right, the EPS growth. The quarterly earnings of 0.81 per share, which missed the analyst consistent estimate of 0.88 by 7.95%. This is a 32.35% increase over earnings of 0.61 cents per share from the same period last year. The company reported quarterly sales. I could just show you what I'm reading here. Right here, the company reported quarterly sales of $44.06 billion, which beat the analyst consensus of $43.21 billion by 1.97%. This is a 69.18% increase over sales of $26.04 billion the same period last year. So if you guys don't know, that's good news because this is our leader in AI. It is our leader in the chip sector. B Stewie, what do you think about the action tonight, brother?
Crazy, man. A lot of doubts. A lot of people didn't think the video was going to do as well. And look at it.
Absolutely. You know, I was actually on that side. I figured even good news might bring this thing back down, but as you guys can see, we actually popped back up on the daily time frame. We popped back up into its stage 2 area. If you guys remember, I started calling this a stage 4 after it broke this base here. I said it's entering a stage 4, it popped back up, and sure enough, we did enter that stage 4. Good enough for me, these new higher lows brought us right back up into that stage 2. So the question is, where does the NVIDIA play lay? 141.63 is where it is sitting right now. So 141.63 puts us right here into that area of resistance. So I would say our best bet for NVIDIA at this point, folks, would be to stay within this stage 2 channel, start to form, oh, you guessed it, a beautiful little base here at 150. And if we can see that, I can almost guarantee we might see NVIDIA new all-time highs by the end of next month. All right? That is my focus is for NVIDIA. Do you agree with me, Stewie?
Totally agree. It's definitely at a key area right here. Tomorrow's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. And of course, if we're going to look at NVIDIA, I also want to look at our other mega leaders, and one of them being PLTR. Now, PLTR right now in the after hours, I'm imagining if it's following everything else, and there it is, up. It actually just hit my alert. So tomorrow morning, I will be keeping a very close eye on this because if we break above this 130, we're going to be back in this recent channel. This could be a good area for risk reward depending on where the market opens. If you're going to try and play an opening range break at this 120 or 130 area. But for me, the real basing breakout would be right here at the 130. Did I say that already? 130. So that is our all-time high basing breakout. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, look at this. You have this area. Remember this? It came right up and then smacked down. This is when everybody was getting a little nervous here because of the overall earnings brought it back down, but creating new lower highs, pulling back. I mean, this is a beautiful channel upward. It looks very clean, following the moving averages like we want to see, folks. Very, very tight day today on PLTR. And you know, I looked at this at the end of the day, Stewie, and I thought, man, this thing really looks like a launching pad right here. It is so tight. This is everything we study right here, folks. And I think PLTR is going to see new all-time highs
Yeah.
by the end of the week.
Oh, I hope. I hope. You know me. I'm watching this. This is my main watch right here. And
Yeah, dude. I know that you got a lot in it. You've added a few times into this thing, man.
yeah,
I love
I
it.
sure have.
So looking at PLTR, looking at NVIDIA, the other two biggest ones that come to mind, and you might disagree with me, but I will argue with you and say these are what led the market in the beginning. The very first stocks to jump out at us is going to be NFLX. I call it NFLX, Netflix. If you guys noticed today, it hit a new all-time high as the overall market was pulling back this morning. This thing just kept on trading sideways. That's what you want to see out of the leaders. When the overall market pulls back, your leaders should be holding up. If you start to see those leaders, for example, MSTR, start to get weak here and they start to close below your moving averages that you're following, you exit like we did on this trade. We made quite a bit of money on this trade, folks. It was beautiful. It closed below the 10-day moving average here. We exited the trade, and now look at this. The weakness is showing. If this breaks, this basing breakout at 125, we might look at MSTR, but right now, we are stair-stepping down. So I want to wait. I want to wait for new higher lows, confirmation of this basing breakout. But this is weak. Bitcoin is weak right now compared to the rest of the indices. Another one that we want to look at, so aside from Netflix, because it did trade sideways, well, the overall market had a nice little pullback this morning, is going to be DOUL, Duolingo. DUOL? There we go. DUOL, Duolingo. If you guys look at this damn chart, it is just squatting down on this 10-day, okay? This thing moves about 4%, so it's a little bit slower, but I have to keep this in my watch list with Netflix specifically because of this. What do you think about the action on Duolingo, B. Stewie?
Yeah, this has been on my list for a minute. I just don't have Duolingo money, but
Yeah, it's
like
expensive.
you said, you know, when the market's pulling back and you're seeing these stocks trade sideways or continue higher, that that's a telltale sign. Keep an eye on it. Wait for a setup, and when you can find a good entry point with good risk reward, man.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. Right here, I'm looking on your watch list too. You do have Duolingo on this watch list that you have for us, which we will be going over the Beef Stewie watch list. I know you guys love it just as much as I do. It's always in my back pocket. You know if I've missed something, my boy Beef Stewie's got my back. I love it, man. So we'll definitely be going over all that. Let's see, another. I mean, there's so many to go over. So Tesla had that beautiful basing breakout, and that was yesterday. I know there was a few of you in the chat that got it. I think Jolene ended up taking a 5-minute trend break yesterday. My favorite 5-minute trend break strategy ended up setting up, and I reached out to her. I said, Jolene, this thing set up as a 5-minute trend break. Did you take it? And she says, I did. Her response was, how long have I been trading with you now? Look at this beautiful 5-minute trend break yesterday. If you accepted that we were down here at our lows, riding that 10-day moving average, you could tell that this would be the perfect spot to add in. And if you did not have the ability to get the 1-minute opening range break or the 5-minute, then you could have waited for this setup. This is the new higher low look. Excuse me, let me scoot back here. This is it right here. So this is the 5-minute higher low look right here, where we get this high up, 3 new higher lows, it gets tight, and a basing breakout right here. You could take it using this. I like to use wherever the VWAP was when I'm taking a 5-minute range breakout. If I'm swing trading it. If it's a day trade, I keep my stops much tighter using these low of day on the 5-minute candle. But anyway, she got in there, and now if you look at this beautiful stock as the basing breakout happened, you can see we are back up here to new all-time monthly highs. So that's really nice to see this year in Uncle Tesla getting back up here to monthly highs. So we'll see what it wants to do there. How do you feel about Tesla? Beach Stewie?
Love it.
Do you like their motto? Like, are you a Tesla bull because of the robots, or because the full self-driving, or because of their vehicles? Like, where are you kind of leaning towards on this play?
I like it though. I like the whole package.
Okay.
Technology, man. I mean, it's coming. People's got to get ready for AI and everything. What Elon Musk, I believe, is doing is next level, and yeah, I'm a fan.
Okay, cool. Yeah. He's very, very talented, and he's got a lot of he's got a lot of fans, he's got a lot of haters. Regardless of what he is doing though, or if you like him or you don't, um, the stock is creating new higher lows. We called this base out. I'm still holding half of my position. I removed half of my position after we've earned 20% using TSLL, which is a 2x leverage. And now I'm holding on to this last half. And this last half, guys, this is what I mean about holding a piece. If I go to TSLL over here and I just look at the last half of this trade, and now I'm using this 10-day moving average. So if it stops below the 10-day moving average, I will exit this trade. But just this last half that I've completely forgot about, I'm only going to check in at the end of the day to see if I need to exit these shares. I'm up over $850 on just holding this last half. We're up over 55% on this trade in total, and we've already taken out half at 20%. It's a beautiful thing, and thank you. And so Tesla, keep an eye on Tesla. If you're not in it already, you need to keep an eye on it for another setup. This is its second leg up, so you might be able to grab that third and follow it with us on new all-time highs, but right now there is no setup. But it's very important that we do keep an eye on Tesla. Another big one is going to be CrowdStrike, CRWD. We called out in the chat, I let you guys know in the chat that I was going to be taking crawl, CRWL, which is the 2x leverage. A gentleman in here, G, I believe, was one that asked about using that 2x leverage and how illiquid it was, CRWL. And if you look, he had very good reason to ask that question. But for me, I'm waiting for these volumes to come in and I'm swing trading. So I'm giving myself some room for that pullback. Okay, this had that beautiful basing breakout pattern. I called it right here on crawl at 34.50. If you were in the chat room, you were able to get a hold of this thing. And what I used for this was the 5-minute trend break strategy right here, guys. You have your 3 new higher lows, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 new lower highs, 1, 2, and 3. The breakout is right here. It looked much, much cleaner on CRWD, CrowdStrike. Take a look at how beautiful this pattern was right before the breakout. All right, so right here, you get a big push up and a pullback. It doesn't even make it to VWAP before it starts getting bought up again. And then it creates a new higher low and a new higher low, and then the breakout point. That is exactly where I bought, was that breakout point. I was not able to get it right here at the basing breakout pattern, but once I gave it time to digest its move and shown that it's not even going to come back to anchored to VWAP for me, that it's strong. So I entered and I'm sitting right. I'm waiting for that 20% on this move. And you can see by taking a trade with proper risk reward, I've only been in this trade for 2 days, folks, and we're up $1,800 on this trade. I am not even taking half until we hit that 20%. Once I hit 20%, I'm out half, and I'm using the 10-day moving average as my stop loss, okay? So that is CRWD. Do we have any questions? I know you guys are starting to pile in here. And B. Stewie, do you have anything you want to say about CrowdStrike?
Totally missed it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you were with Mama or not, but
Hey, Dave, I have a question, if that's okay.
absolutely, Libby, please.
So the moving average, I just want to clarify which one you're using. Is it the 10-day?
So I use 5 moving averages on the shorter time frame or on the daily time frame. My main ones that I'm using to follow these are whatever it's following. So if we look at CrowdStrike, CRWD, I'm following the 21-day moving average because it's bouncing off this 21-day moving average. See it bouncing off that? So I'm using that 21 for that correlation. if it looks better on a 10, like Tesla, for example, if we follow Tesla down here on this daily time frame, you can see every time it's came up, it's bounced or squatted on the 10-day and bounced up. And it has done the same thing here again. So I'm using the 10 and 21 day, whatever one correlates with the tightening range on the overall stock. The only other moving averages that I use, and guys, keep in mind, Libby, keep this in mind, these are only for a guide. These aren't like a buy and sell type thing. And you can use whatever moving average you want. I use the 10, 21, 30, 50, and 200. And the reason why I do that is because I love IBD, Investors Business Daily. And that is, the founder is William O'Neill, one of the gentlemen that we study. And so I have matched. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I have just used what they did. And I've been working with these moving averages for so long now that they have just become second nature to me. I can look at the moving average and I can understand in correlation where the stock is, how strong it is compared to the market. After using this for a while, you kind of don't even need relative strength. You kind of just understand relative strength. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And if you guys ever have any questions, just reach out. I want you to interrupt. I want you to ask questions. We're all here to learn. Okay, so
Also explain, Dave.
Yeah, please.
The 1021, you want to use the exponential and the 50 and the 200. Simple.
Very, very good point. So everybody's different. You don't have to use one or the other, but for me, I like more information quicker. And so we use the exponential moving averages for the quicker moving averages, like the 10, 20, and 30. And then I use the longer term moving averages, the simple moving averages, for the 50 and the 200-day moving average. Now, again, this is what I've set it up to be. You can set it up however you want, but because I take trades on a daily time frame, I want to see the price movement. I want it to digest the price action quicker so I can make quicker decisions on that. Okay. Thank you for that, Stewie. Okay. So what is there a ticker you want to go over, Stewie? I think we can go over NNE if you'd like. I don't know if you even want to talk about NNE right now, but is there a ticker you want to go over?
Yeah, these nukes are doing nuke things. You know, you got to be so careful with these things.
Absolutely. You know, my main point that I've constantly brought up was that we don't have any sales growth. And my main focus when it comes to anything, to feel comfortable in it, I want to see sales growth because you cannot hide the numbers with sales growth. So I feel like these nuclear stocks, yes, they are volatile. Yes, you can make some big money, but you also can lose a lot too in this choppy action. With NNE, I do believe they had a prospectus supplement, so they're diluting their shareholders, which is never good. Never, never good. Now, if we look at a few of the other stocks like SMR here, you can see they have EPS and sales growth. So this is the better one to kind of keep an eye on. And I think you and I, we kind of had, you know, we've went back and forth, Stewie, so many times on who the damn leader is. And I flip-flopped. You can even see right here, NNE was a leader. Not the middle finger, but the leader portion right here. And you know, I flip-flopped back and forth. But, you know, when it comes down to it, are they making money? SMR seems to actually have some types of sales growth here. How clean this how the financials are, I haven't dug deep. I haven't. I have not been a part of nuclear except for when NNE created this base all the way back here. I mean, we made a ton of money here. I'll never forget this day in chat. And we're going to have many more of these in the years to come. But that was just a fun day. And, you know, shout out to our boy Covey. But SMR, look at this beautiful trend break. And then look, it starts to trade sideways and bounces off the 10-day. This to me is not a good trade either because it doesn't have tightening action. It just actually is wide and kind of choppy. And then it just takes off. So I wouldn't have been able to be a part of this. This we would have been able to take an opening range break on. But you would have had to really been there because it really went. When it went, it just went, boy. So I like SMR. If you like nuclear, keep an eye on SMR. I'm going to dub this one now as the leader. I think it's safe to say. But obviously, we need to keep an eye on NNE because there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of interest. It's still within range, guys. I don't know where it's trading at right now, but it's still in this uptrend. This is still a really good sign. It giving back the majority of its gap up is not a good sign. So we'll see. There's a struggle there. We'll see what's going to happen. We need to talk about HIMS because HIMS has just been doing this sideways action. This is the kind of stuff that I really want to warn you guys about. And what I mean by that is when a stock isn't acting right according to the rest of the market, we just have to notice it. Now, if it starts to firm up on the 21-day moving average, that's go time. That's go time. But when we look at something like this, I've drawn this out twice. The first time I wanted to get tight here, but now that it's gapped down, it's got more proving to do. Sam, if you could mute yourself, unless you want to chat, just mute yourself for me, just because this is being recorded. But yeah, we need to give this more time. Of course, EPS and sales growth is phenomenal. Phenomenal. We want to keep our eye on the stock. It was and still, in my book, is a leader, especially in healthcare. It is the leader of its sector. So keep an eye on HIMS. These things can take months. My favorite, 6-month base. B. Stewie, I've been chatting with him. The more I see these 6-month base, these bigger things, the more I'm like, hey, why don't I just wait for these bigger bases? Let's take our time here, and there's no point.
I'm trying to learn.
Oh, dude, it's so hard, dude. It's so freaking hard. This 21, it's starting to firm up. Go ahead, buy the dip, right? But here's the thing. What if the dip keeps on dipping? This can easily gap down tomorrow. This can easily start to curl over. This can easily bounce up and then make a new higher low and continue lower. These are all the negative correlations. The positive correlations, on the other hand, is waiting for the setup. That's the beautiful thing. That's something that we are in control of, okay? If you wait and you...
Also, Dave, you always said...
Yes.
You want to jump on the backs of the whales. I've been in that bag holder situation where, you think it's going to go up, you hold it and it keeps down, you never know where the bottom is. And that's a crappy feeling when you're in a stock and you're in that situation. Like you've always said, you want to buy the momentum. We're momentum swing traders. You got to wait for that volume. You got to wait for the whales to start jumping. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, I agree 100%, man, for sure. And it's just so hard to be patient because as traders, you want to be traders. But one very key point that B. Stewie said there too was that we are momentum swing traders. We are not investors. None of you in this chat room, if you're listening or learning from me, sure, we talk about long-term investments. That's in a separate account that we're dollar cost averaging into. But right now, why we study every night, why we read the book constantly, and we go over these charts and we have Sunday meetings is because we need to get better. We need to focus on the leaders. I forgot where I was going with that, sorry. We're going to stick with HIMS though. This thing's trading sideways. This thing's making new higher lows. Then yeah, we want to be a part of this. We got to be patient. We have to wait for this to set up. Okay? It's looking absolutely garbage right now. Garbage. There's no reason why anybody would be holding this unless you're using the 21-day moving average. But in my experience, when this thing's breaking up and breaking out right here, you've already taken 20%. Your stop loss brought up to break even. If you're playing the opening range breakout, you still have room. You still have room to let it breathe. Absolutely, let it breathe. But if you're waiting to get into this thing and you're bottom fishing, I'm not gonna say that that's a really good idea. Bottom fishing's hard. Bottom fishing is hard, definitely. Let's you see what I did there, homie? You know I love you. Let me switch this over to the best setups. Spotify. So what's Spotify looking like in the after hours? Because so guys, this is my best case scenario. I drew this out like what, 3 weeks ago after the earnings, and it gapped up to here. I said, this is our best case scenario. It comes up, it hits this top, and look at this. I mean, I don't even want to delete this. You know, I have plenty of trades that look exactly like this. Best case scenarios work out. And now this is at best case scenario. You got to have a little capital to be trading this at $663. But Spotify Technologies with EPS and earnings growth, if you guys aren't watching it, then you're not a momentum trader. Even if you're not going to take this, you need to keep an eye on it. You need to watch how these leaders run. What do you think about Spotify?
Yeah, I've charted it out. I put a couple different posts on my X page of Spotify.
Yeah.
Monkey's looking tight.
She is looking tight. Yeah, I'm excited. I see it on your watch list here too. Yeah, I love it, dude. I love your watch list. I got like pretty much the same watch list, but you have a little bit more small cap shit ticker stocks, a little bit more noise in there. If you don't mind me saying, it's noise in my opinion. But dude, if you can catch good risk reward on these. Speaking of risk reward, let's look at RR, which is a shit ticker, folks. Look at the EPS and sales growth. We ain't got much. I mean, there's a little bit of sales, but I don't know where it's coming from. The EPS growth is garbage. But look at this trend break. Trend break. They already had earnings. It's out of the way. We get this move right up here, smack into right around that $3 area and start to pull back. Now, if it creates another new higher low, I really think that you have great risk reward on this shit ticker, you know? So that's another reason why we look at these things. We keep an eye on them. This thing moves 10.1%. If you can find proper risk reward and take a small trade into something like this, go for it. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really care for it. But guys, it's robotics, right? You're trading the chart. You're not trading the financials when it comes to these small cap stocks. Just make sure you have tight. Well, maybe not tight, depending on how much this moves, but. What do you think about RR? Have you been keeping this on your watch list?
Yeah, all the robotics, AI, quantum, those themes are hot right now. And
Yeah.
if you read the books, watch the videos, they all say you want to watch to get into the hot themes or watch the hot sectors. And if you look at RR, QMCO, Qubit, they're all kind of look the same and they're all starting to curl up,
What is qubits again? QUBT, I thought. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, QUBT is really firming up. And this is another shit ticker, right? QUBT, I'm pretty sure, if I remember looking at the financials. It's through that anchored VWAP that you like to pull from those all-time highs there. That's really nice to see it break through. Now it looks like it's coming down and retesting. So this is a nice small cap stock, guys, if you're keeping an eye on this. And look how clean this looks. This is without any of the moving averages or anything. And I'm just taking off the low before this big move and off the high off this big move. So we find dead nut. And you can see right here, it struggle busts through it, got through it. And now you can find proper risk reward. Okay? I like it.
Absolutely. And just like you were saying earlier about the moving averages, you don't have to use the moving averages for your risk to reward. You can, if you use anchor VWAP or VWAP,
Yeah.
That's a great.
Absolutely.
Because it's like the anchor VWAP's like a magnet. The price is going to contract or come back to the magnet, right? So if you can get a test on the magnet and then get a pop on volume where the institutions are stepping in and buying, that's where you want to get in.
Yes, sir. And the beautiful thing about the psychology behind this is from this area and this area, this is where the majority of the volume has been traded on QUBT. So to know where the average weighted volume price is really good to know, because this tells us if we're above this, the average person that has been holding since this date is in the money. Psychologically, anybody who has bought down here is in the money. The majority that have bought in here all throughout this, they're all in the money. So if the majority is in the money, the psychology would tell you that they would hold if they haven't sold already. It's holding in this area. If they have sold, they will most likely get that fear of missing out as it capitulates. So you have a double bull psychological push to the north side. So watching this thing firm up and keeping an eye on those anchored VWAPs is very key in a lot of trading setups. I don't use it in my process as much as B. Stewie does, but I'm telling you, B. Stewie has got some really good pricing from using this anchored VWAP. He's got a few, there was a couple of trades, MVST was one of them. He got like 30-cent better trade than me. And I'm like, what? Like, how did you know to buy there? And he's like, well, the anchored VWAP. And I'm like, oh, dude, okay, you got me there, you know, like, and I'm competitive like that. It's all friendly and stuff like that. But if my boy's getting a better price than me, I need to know why. I need to learn from it because I want to be better. And B. Stewie got a better price on MVST. Hats off to him. Anchored VWAP is what did it for him. And if you're looking at a shit stock like this, QUBT, this is all about price action. You want to know where that anchored volume weighted price is. I would say that this is a great area for risk reward, but do remember, this is not my style of trading. I'm looking for those sales growth. I'm looking for EPS, earnings growth. I'm looking for all of that. But this, I'm not going to turn it. I'm a technical analysis trader. I'm a momentum trader. I want to play this, trust me. And you know, sure, I could take a little, but that would be breaking my rules. I created rules for a reason and I am not allowing myself to play these, even in this bull market. I'm going to focus on what I want to focus on, but don't turn your blind eye to this. Keep an eye on it. Don't have that fear of missing out. And guys, we got it. Oh, absolutely.
For B. Stewie, where do you, I know you've experimented a lot with the VWAP. Where now are you using that? I mean, I've seen people say the first of the month, last high, last low, a surge day. Like, where do you generally play yours?
Well, those are all great areas, and you know, I use a lot earnings, and then also the first of the month. But again, I mean, you could plot it. You can plot it anywhere. You know, if you're using VWAP on the daily, you know, I started at the first of the day, and I'll keep an eye on daily VWAP, and then I'll have my plots anchored either, you know, earnings first of the month. It's all again a gauge to risk gauge risk to reward. You know, you could plot anchored VWAP anywhere. High volume day, some kind of news catalyst day. You know, so it really does. It's really discretionary on you, Erica.
Okay.
The majority.
Can I?
Go ahead.
I wanted to mention something. I logged on late, so I don't know if you guys got this, but I saw a news headline that said a federal court blocked the tariffs.
Okay. The tariffs for like England.
All of them.
Oh.
You might want to check into that. If that's true.
Well, if that's true, I'll tell you this. If that's true, and that headline came across, the market is open right now. So we'll just check right now because I'm gonna just brush that piece of news aside unless the market's moving on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Thanks for asking. So we're gonna look at the ES1 futures. And right here, you can see if we look at the date, we're looking at the 29th, which means it is open for business. So if we look at the overall market, you can see we have hit tonight, we have hit new all-time highs. All right, so right now we are at a gap up. So if you peel open your accounts, you'll see that we have, you know, when I closed my account, Erica, I was down 1%. When I opened up my account before we logged on to the show, I was up 2% in my total account. So the market, if that news is true, is taking it beautifully. The only issue is if it is not true, because I haven't looked into it, that has a chance to be given it back. I think a lot of this move, though, is due to the NVIDIA earnings because they came out and capitulated the market even higher. So if we look at NVIDIA and we switch this to a 5-minute time frame, you'll see NVIDIA is up to 143.17. So that's our main catalyst right now. NVIDIA is up 6.63% in the after hours. And as you know, Erica, NVIDIA is a boat in this market. It takes up this huge chunk right here in the overall market. It's humongous. So 6% for NVIDIA is good for everybody's pocketbooks right now. No tariffs, no tariffs being blocked, that should capitulate the market even higher, because then it's, free trade and nobody's afraid of tariffs, right? So, does that maybe help answer, or is that a good interlude to what you said?
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it. I saw that come from somebody that's actually friends with Trump. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if there's more headlines on it. I just thought I'd mention it.
Sure. I'll check out the headlines after we do our technical analysis because that would be really interesting and to see how that would play out. The overall market itself is up 2% right now. So that's really good. We're looking really, really good right now. I'm really happy with all the markets action. Even before I seen this huge gap up today, guys, the overall market's condition today, if we look and just zoom in on this action, it's absolutely perfect. You get this huge gap up like this, we don't want to just keep gapping up because then we're going to get a huge pullback. If we start to be constructive and bounce off of what? The 10-day moving average and the S&P 500 like we know and love, the 21-day moving average, and it pops up here, this little pullback is just perfect. To be honest with you, the news that we have capitulating this much higher to new all-time highs, I don't care to see that. I'd much rather see more sustaining, pressure. So what I'm expecting tomorrow now, if we end up towards these new all-time highs, or monthly highs, would be a pullback. That would be constructive. Give me a tightening range, another basing area. Give me a longer range to let more participants help get them in before the next breakout. If we keep trading higher, nobody's going to want to be a part of it. And then it's all going to sell off until we can base out again. So let's calm the hell down market, trade sideways, have a beer. I'll even put a beer on here for it. Here, we'll put, here we go. Let it chill out a little bit. What else do we want to look at, guys? What else? I mean, I could go on all day. I seriously have thousands of tickers. B. Stewie has thousands of tickers. What do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to see? Is there anything that you guys are holding? Have we went over Hood yet? Is that one of them? I know, Carl, you're still holding Hood, ain't you, brother? He's sitting pretty right now. Look at this. Let's take a look at this daily time frame, shall we? All right, Hood right now. Hood was at that basing breakout area and is still kind of trading sideways here within it. We want the breakout. We want to see the breakout. Here was the basing breakout at the bottom. Earnings was out of the way, and you can see we had this beautiful basing breakout. And then you can take out after 20%, right? So let's go ahead and look. Right here, you can take out a fourth of your position or half of your position, depending on how you like to play. Right now, a quarter of your position, hell, even an eighth is probably wise, but do you? This thing continued to ride the 10-day moving average. Absolutely beautiful. Now, if we look in the after hours, Hood is right there again at all-time highs. So right here, Hood, if this thing gaps up over its area, or let's give it a couple more days, a couple more weeks, let it trade sideways, get tight before breaking out of this base right here at the top, that 66.75, that would be great. If the market wants to do whatever the hell it wants to do, like it usually does, this thing is going to rip tater chip tomorrow. I mean, this thing could really fly. So keep an eye, because we're extended from the 10-day moving average. That's why I have conflicting, biases here. You need to be careful with these things. We're extended. It's not squatting on the 10-day, basing out. It's a little extended. Now it's gapping up for tomorrow, right at those all-time highs. If we open up and you see volume, there's risk reward. There's risk reward there. I'm not saying, throw your house equity in there, but I'm saying Hood is a leader. Hood is a leader in this market, folks, and we are at a basing breakout area that might serve proper risk reward for you. Keep an eye on it. What do you think, Beef?
Yeah, this is one I messed up. I was in this a few weeks ago.
Really?
And,
Did you take the basing breakout?
like you said, you got to let the market tell you what it wants, just like you said with this, because you get chopped out or you get in at at a high price, and then your risk rewards all screwed up, and then you end up getting stopped out. That's what happened to me.
Dude, yeah.
I shouldn't have traded it because the market wasn't in the right state of mind at the time.
Yeah.
And neither was I.
I feel you.
So,
I feel you.
I've charged this. I've been watching it. I like it.
Don't feel bad. I sold mine this morning before I left the house, so I'm really pissed. More pissed than you.
What was your reason for selling, Erica?
Because I got a bad entry.
Okay.
Last week I was just sick of not being in the market, so I made a bunch of purchases, thinking it was my planning was, okay, I'm making purchases for my long-term account. Even though I knew everything was really high, I just was tired of not being in the market. And
Sure.
so that was a mistake, believe me,
Well-
on most everything. So anyway, I ended up selling that, and then as soon as I sold it, and I had to go to my mom's to do manual labor, and then I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't have sold it. It was so close to where a reasonable stop would have been. I just got bad entries on everything, so anyway.
No, I totally
learning,
understand that, Erica, and I know that you're a fairly newer trader, at least when it comes to, taking your own, finding your own, using your own technical analysis. And one thing, and I'm just going to tell you flat out, you're trading emotionally. You're trading emotionally, and I don't know, how anybody can actually fix that, except for being able to ask themselves, is this a part of my rules and my process? Because if you don't have rules and processes in place, you're going to be taking random trades. And with random trades comes random results. One year you make 20,000, the next year you're losing 40,000. You're going to get these random fluctuations in results, and you'll never have a sustainable growing account if you don't have accountability in your overall process. So just telling you flat out, because you've been here for a while now, Erica, and I love and appreciate you, but you're trading with emotion right now, and that is so dangerous. I've traded under anger. I've traded under wanting to get back. I've traded under the pretense of I need to show my family I'm a prestigious, father who can trade in the market. I've went through every freaking emotion, and it sucks. And until you eliminate that emotion, eliminate the noise, and focus on one strategy and hone in on that, that's the only way you're going to make this possible to make millions of dollars. I promise you.
I totally agree with you, Dave. And Erica, that was my problem. Like I've told you before, I was doing the same thing. And like Dave said, the process and your entry are key. If you're just buying to get into something, 99.99% of the time you're going to get shaken out and you're going to lose money. And until you do it enough times and you get mad at yourself for doing it,
Yep.
then you'll change. That's exactly what I had to do.
Yep.
I got sick of getting.
It's like, well,
and every time you do get out of a trade or you end up selling because you want to take a quick profit or whatever the case may be, and it'll run 800% every time. And what that does to your psyche is not good. And then it just keeps snowballing. You'll keep doing it, and you'll keep doing it, and it just causes pain until you can figure out your process and get psychologically strong.
Yeah,
You're going to continue to have
my
that.
intent was I'm just going to start DCA into stocks I like. That was the intent. But I'm
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I think trying to swing trade has just screwed my head up so bad because I don't know how you can separate the two once you start trying to swing trade. Like your long term, that was my thing. I said I'm just going to start just buying the stocks I like, DCA for long term, separate from swing trading. So I did that, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh crap, this thing's going down. I don't have a stop because it's my long. I was planning on long term, so I ended up selling it, right
Well,
before I lost money. So
right.
I didn't lose money on it. But how do you separate the two?
Well,
Like,
I'll
how do
tell
you
you right
buy
now,
long term?
Erica, you told me right there that you did not follow your rule. So you tried to separate it. You just told me you
I know.
tried. And so you separate it and you said, I bought this for the long-term account. And then it goes down and you sell it. That's no, now you're swing trading. Now you're, hell, if you did it the same day, you're day trading, you know?
I didn't do it the same day, but
Well, regardless, you weren't following your rules. You completely, you told me
Yeah,
the
you got to
one
have
and only rule that you gave yourself, and that was that it's for your long-term account, and then you sold it. That's not holding for your long-term account, Erica. That's trading. That's trading with emotion. You looked at a dollar amount, you know, and that's what I'm just trying to get across here is that we have to have a process, and if part of your process is holding for a long term, then you need to have your mindset and in place that this is for long term. And if long term is good, is that if that's what you want to do, I highly suggest just dollar cost averaging into the overall market, like the VOO. It's a derivative of the S&P 500, and it pays a dividend. And then you don't even have to worry, think, or stress about the overall market. To be quite honest with you, you know.
Yeah, have a plan for your long term, and then have a plan for swing trading, and have a plan for day trading. You know, have something on a piece of paper that lays out to you your rules for each
Absolutely,
different process. So,
absolutely. You guys have anything that you guys want to look at? I mean, I got 1,000 stocks here between between the beef Stewie and I. Let's look at Group GRPN. That was a base breakout, guys. Look at this beautiful basing breakout. I called this out in the chat. Uh, it, it doesn't get any prettier than that. I mean, this reminds me of AEVA. Remember this basing breakout? This was a little bit longer, a longer time frame. That's why I wanted this. And that's why I took this right here. Uh, uh, but when we look at Groupon GRPN, you can see it's a bit shorter of a base. But these are the shit tickers that we talk about. They move up quick, they make a tight base, and now look, this thing's pushing, folks. I mean, right here, if you'd taken the base and breakout, right here is 9.78%, and your stop loss on this thing would have been low of day 1.85%. If you use previous day 4.74%, which means you're still already up over 2R. One of these days, somebody's going to be like, Dave, I love you. And I'm going to say, no problem, bro. No problem. FNMA, this thing's just chopping around. We're just keeping an eye on it. That's another shit ticker. BULL. Honestly, this thing, it had so much. People are going, when this thing starts to run, watch the anchored VWAP from this all-time high or from this all-time area, this low. We could even set it to the high. I don't think it matters. It's going to be in the same spot because it's taking up all this. And you can see here, once it gets up into this area, it'll probably form a base under that anchored VWAP. But once it breaks above, maybe a retest as it continues higher. But this thing needs a ton of time, obviously. But we're just going over the shit tickers. I haven't looked at SMMT in a while. Look at this thing. What do you think about SMMT? Are we staying away from it, B. Stewie, or is this on your watch list, bro? Oh, Stewie don't want to talk. He's got himself muted. All right, whatever, dude. There you go.
I'm here. You know I'm watching this piece.
I knew it, dude. SMMT. I mean, we've been watching this for a while. It's just this is how it moves. We probably should not watch this. The only reason why I like it though is because look at all these highs right here. We got 1, 2, and then it's trading like within it. So if I lay this out kind of how I see it, we draw this line here, right? So now it's broke above it, and then it's retesting this area. Now it's a garbage. It's EPS and sales growth. This thing's garbage. But you know, on a technical standpoint, if you can deal with the chop, it's just something I've been watching forever, and I just can't stop watching it because every time we think it's going to do something, yeah. Like, remember this? This thing stopped me out and ran. Do you remember this one, B. Stewie? It was all the way back in June 2024. I took this trade because this was like absolutely phenomenal. And then look at it. It shook everybody out, and then it took off, you know? And then reached all-time highs and came right back down. It's just, oh, it's like these guys. So, yeah, I don't recommend playing this garbage. Just stay away from it. Let's see. So CEG, this thing broke out of its basing breakout. We talked about this on Sunday's meeting as well. Not a very long basing breakout and not as tight as I would want to see under CEG. Getting tight there, but you know, there it is. You know, and if you could even pull this all the way back to here, some people would be like, "No, it's a cup and handle, or it's a head and shoulder. It's gonna go down." You know, you just got to focus on the price action here. You know what I love about this is a lot of people brought the regression lines, and I've been seeing this on the internet a lot, where like, oh, when it gets above its regression line, that's the place to short it. And I just keep using this as an example because I keep seeing it come up. So I keep reposting like this same chart. And it's like, okay, well, we'll see. You know, right here, I posted it the first time. Like, okay, well, we'll see if this regression channel, if that works, you know. And it climbed higher as a leader, as EPS and sales growth continue to climb or continue to come in. And look at it, keeps climbing. This is our leader in aerospace. It's absolutely beautiful. B. Stewie, do you think? I mean, you're the aerospace guy, honestly. What do you think? Is this our leader in aerospace? Are you muted again, turd? Talk to me. B. Stewie's got the crappiest internet out there. What up, Swolzenberg? What up, Zamora? It's good to see you guys. Heck yeah. Well, all right, we'll go over a couple more tickers. We got about 5 or 6 more minutes. So if you guys have a ticker, B. Stewie, your internet's garbage, bro.
It's definitely.
Yeah, your internet keeps cutting out, B. Stewie. Get better internet. Oh, shit. All right, Beef. Try it again.
We see Arlo.
Arlo? RLO?
ARLO.
Oh, sure. Oh, look at this beautiful thing. So we just actually went over quite a few stocks that look like this setup, okay? And what's nice about it is you get this huge push up. It pulls back. It's within this tightening range. And it's getting really, really tight here now on this 10-day moving average. And I see 2 things here. This is what's beautiful about technical analysis. You pull off the all-time highs. We could see a trend break. Best case scenario for trend break would be something like this. And then it breaks out higher. Okay, or we zoom out, we use this daily time frame, and we draw this here as our basing breakout. We would go right about here. We're using this, the average of these, but I'm using this here, here, and now it's within this tightening range here. I would consider this the basing breakout on this though, right there. So anything above 1387 is the basing breakout, but like I showed you a little bit ago, anything above this 1350 area is in a good sign for this stock, but we would want to see this thing break its trend. That would be one possible scenario because that would give you proper risk reward, or B, breaking this basing breakout over time, giving it some more time. Now, when I look at the EPS growth, we're seeing some, but I'm seeing declining sales growth. So that's not a good sign. It's in the telecommunications. And guys, if you didn't see Beef Stewie posted in the Discord, I'll just pull it in front of you guys so you can see it right here. On the pullback, before obviously we got this huge push in the market, the only thing that was holding up is communication services. That's a huge relative strength. When everything else is down, communication services is doing well. That's a really, really good sign for the overall sector. And Arlo is in that telecommunications, communications, and electronic technologies. And wow, just looking at the earnings bubble sheet, it looks like they're forecasting growth. That looks really nice too. So, is this financially sound? No, it's not, completely and financially sound, but I would say, if you're in the stock or if you're looking at trading the stock, it's beautiful in the technical analysis. I would like to get B Stewie. B, can you talk? Can you chat? What's your idea on this? See, this is the basing breakout for me. This is a nice story right here. So, above this 1380, 1384, if you see volume when it comes in, that could tell some truth. That could really tell some truth here, Stewie, you got the mic? You got your ears on, homie?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
The internet's stupid.
Yeah, what do you think about Arlo? You've been watching this, haven't you? Yeah, you got this on your watch list.
Love it.
Do you?
Look at that base, man.
Yes, sir.
8, 10.
Yeah, this is from March 20th of last year. So a little over a year, guys, of a base here. So if it could capitulate, this would be the area to do it. So Swolzenberg, yeah, I like that ticker. I like that ticker a lot.
About, KRMN, Carmen.
KRMN. Oh, look at this. So this is the first time I'm seeing this. So this is aerospace. This would be more of a Beef Stewie question. What do you think? Well, actually, it looks like a newer IPO. What do you think about this one, Stewie?
Oh, yeah. I've been eyeballing it. I think I've put it in chat. Had a nice trend break. Come back down. It's testing that 10-day, the support area. And this is a close watch for me.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And then
It's
above all moving averages.
above all its anchor VWAP.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you broke up for a quick second. Yeah, it's clearly above all of its anchored VWAP because, it just made new all-time highs recently. Today? So that, this, and what's nice about these recent IPOs is guess what's above it? I could keep pulling this thing up, guys. The y-axis is infinite above it. There is no pressure for this thing to get sold off into. The biggest pressure is those round numbers, those 2s, 4s, 50s, 100s, stuff like that. So you can see right here, this is like, it's roughly, well, I guess it's not perfect, but I would say roughly the 45-50 area. This is where it's sold off, is the 45-50 area, in the even number, arguably.
Yeah, it's testing its anchor VWAP from last earnings right now.
Is it?
It'd be a great risk to reward.
So you're pulling earnings from here, and look at, this is what he's talking about. Yeah, this is beautiful. So trend break, just like you said, retesting, and it's coming back down to retest this anchored VWAP. I like that, dude. I like that.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing those up, brother. Those are some good
I
tickers.
got in that. I think before the breakout when Beef Stewie mentioned it in the Discord.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Perfect.
But if we don't mind going over NNE, I'm just swimming in a sea of indecision.
Well, sure. So I've already went over NNE, but because you were late, Swolzenberg, you're going to have to go back and listen to it, you turd boy. Why you late? Swolzenberg, you're lifting weights or what? Playing pickleball? What were you doing?
Yes, those were both earlier today. Feeding the neighbor's cats, actually.
All right, so NNE, it actually got, it's diluting its shareholders, but if you want to talk about a nuclear stock, I'm naming SMR as the leader. So if you're not in a leader, you are in a lagger. If SMR starts to pull back, NNE will most likely start to pull back even harder. Good news is you have a new higher low here and this basing area. So if we can get this to hold anywhere in this area, that would be a good sign, but we need to see new higher lows. Now it is trending up. It is above all these moving averages. You know, it still looks intact up to a point, right? It is until it isn't, right? So we had this beautiful trend, but with the market conditions, we have to take in and understand the fear that was put in the markets. Now we're back in our trend line area. If it can hold this area and get tight, I still think that this can carry higher. We have to give it time though. So where is your stop loss? You know, that's what you need to be asking yourself. Is it the low of today? Because now we've capitulated higher. Where is NNE now? I mean, we'll have to see because we're getting a gap up here. In the after hours, it came up a little bit, you know, so it's off that previous day low. Okay.
I could hit my stop at 32.50 in the middle of the day somewhere.
Okay, and so you're out of it?
I mean, just a small piece left.
Okay, so you're not in a sea of indecision. You're in a piece of indecision, right? Like I'm thinking a sea, like you have an overwhelming amount of shares and you don't know what to do with it, right? So you just have a piece right now?
That's a few other things.
Okay, Swolzenberg, my man. I mean, like, goodness, brother, come on. We are in a bull market, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure we're not buying extended. We got to make sure we're buying on these proper base so we can find risk reward because I don't like to hear anybody holding bags. Nobody's holding bags. All right, I'm throwing a bag up. What are you holding a bag on right now?
TEM is my bag.
TEM? I'm throwing a bag on it. Thank you for being a good sport about this, bro. Swolzen, you're a good sport, homie, for real. All right, we're throwing the bag up on here for Swolzenberg. We're going to hope and pray that this thing, it can hold the 200-day moving average because you guys know what I think about that. All right? Wow, we've tried this before.
What it's sitting on, the 200?
It's sitting on the bag right now. Yes, sir. It's sitting on the 200-day moving average. I don't know about in the after hours, but we'll keep a close eye on that. All right, we're going to call that a night, folks. I hope you enjoyed tonight as much as I did. I needed to peel open the account anyway. I needed to go over the overall market. And honestly, B. Stewie, thank you so much for being a big part of this. I love your input. I love your insight. I love the anchored VWAP getting thrown into this because it makes me even more aware of what's going on, and I'm learning a ton from you. So thank you so much for helping me out tonight, bro. We will definitely be... sorry, B. Stewie. I didn't mean to cut you off. What'd you say, homie?
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
B. Stewie's got a little bit of a lag, so sometimes we cut each other off, or mostly I just cut him off, but we'll deal with it. Erica, Jimmy, Libby, Zamora, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you guys have an awesome trading day tomorrow and enjoy the gap ups, baby.